Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Tuesday, April the 22nd, 2025, and I would like to welcome you all to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Corner-Gay. Hope everyone's enjoying their Tuesday. Beginning of the work week. Back to work we go. Back to work we go. Weather here in North Carolina is looking pretty good. We've been hot a few days, but temperatures are going to drop a little bit. Expecting some rain. Hope it washes away some of this pollen. Man, between the heat and the pollen, I don't know what to tell you. Good luck and God bless. Take that allergy medicine if you're allergic to pollen. Man, because here lately, I have noticed, I will say this, I'm not an allergy guy. I'm not allergic to pollen or anything like that, or have the sniffles or the runny nose and red eyes. But here lately, I've noticed in the past few years that pollen, it breaks me out. And that's the only conclusion I could come with. At first, I thought it was like heat rash, but I honestly believe it's the pollen. It just forms. It's like I brush up against something. I'm outside, unbeknownst to me, and boom, my arm breaks out. So it's got to be pollen. So yeah, take that allergy medicine, Benadryl, whatever you guys take, and I'll keep praying for you. I will keep praying for you. Hope you guys enjoy this weather. All right, today's word of the day: wistful, which means full of yearning or desire. Hmm. That's a great word to start off the work week when you say it. There's a lot of folks that were wistful this weekend, perhaps. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All right, let's move along here, man. I'm not gonna hold you guys up today too long. I got a long work day, long work week, so I'm not gonna hold you guys up, man. The NBA basketball, the finals are starting. They had the play-ins last week, and I guess the road has been set in the East. It looks like it's the Pistons and the Knicks. Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks in the first round. Knicks lost. Pistons won 194. I know a week or so ago the Pistons they had got into it with, hey, if you know the Detroit Pistons, you know what they do. Those are the bad boys of the NBA. That was the old moniker. Maybe they're going back to it because they got into it during the series, and some players got ejected. The benches were cleared. That's Detroit. That's the bad boys. Just is. Whatever the case may be, they're in the first round against the Knicks, and they're up, like I said, 1-0. The Knicks couldn't pull it off. The Knicks need help bad. They need help bad. I feel bad for Brunson. I really do. I think he's a great player. Wrong team, wrong coaching, wrong player personnel, whatever you want to word it, how you want to word it. I just feel bad for the guy. Great player, and he does show it every night he steps on that court. But I just think he's at the wrong organization right now. I don't know what the Knicks are going to do, and nobody knows. I don't even think the Knicks know what they're going to do. They always do this every single year, reminiscent of a lot of other teams. Who knows about those guys? But all right, let's move along here. One game last night also was the Clippers, the LA Clippers versus the Denver Nuggets. Well, the Clippers pulled it out, 105 to 102. Denver fired their coach. Guy won on the championship. I guess he couldn't come back and do it last year, and this year they weren't looking so tough because they had to come in. They're in the first round of the playoffs, but they had to come through a play-in. They struggled all season. So right before the play-in, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Nuggets, they fired him. Wow. Nah, these teams ain't playing with you. If you can't produce, coach or player, you're out of there, baby. You are out of there. And speaking of which, tonight is going to be the LA Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves are up 1-0. This is the second game of that series. My Lakers. Surprised everybody towards the middle or end of the season with that trade where they got, what's his name, from Dallas. He's looking good. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But, man, LA ain't looking so tough. They ain't looking so tough. Shannon Sharp, he has this little thing, his little spill on the ESPN first takes. Rada, 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 yeah, yeah, however he words it, whatever he's saying for that moment. Lakers in five. I don't see Lakers in nothing. I think this is going to be a first round exit if they don't get it together. That's my prediction. And I'm a Lakers fan through and through. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Then again, maybe it's me. What do I know? What do I know? What do I know? And also tonight is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are looking somewhat good. I give them that. They can play. They can run and gun. Hey, they can. They just can. So we'll see what they do against Milwaukee. And then also ending the night is going to be I don't think this is a late game. This is one of the early games. It's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Oklahoma City Thunder has been looking good all year. They might even be the best team in the NBA. Hands down. They just might be. I got to be honest with you. They look just that good. Surprising. But we'll see what they do tonight and against the Memphis Grizzlies with John Morant. I pray this young man gets it together. He caught a little flack. And, many folks were a little bit upset and they were questioning the NBA's reasoning behind this. Apparently, he made a gesture. After he had shut out he was playing. They were playing Golden State, I believe. Yeah, they were playing the Golden State Warriors, and he had pretty much put on the show against Steph Curry, and he made some type of gun gesture, like shoot your lights out, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. But the NBA ended up firing him. A lot of folks were upset, saying, "How could they do that? That was just a gesture. He was just caught in the moment." Yada yada yada, rah rah rah. Get it, got it, understand it, but stop and get your gun troubles. You gotta be smarter than that, man. You just do. You're worth too much money and you have way too much talent to get caught up in that foolishness. Well, whatever the case may be, looks like Memphis is going to be playing OKC tonight. We'll see how that game turns out. I can't wait to see that. That's probably going to be a pretty good game, I think. That might be one of the best games. Might even be one of the best series in this fight, in this playoff run. Just man. Like I said, OKC's, they're hitting on all cylinders, man. They ain't playing this year, and they're coming. All right, let's move along here, man. Hey, if you know me, I don't know. I did a series of shorts Sunday, I believe, and one of them was, of course, on WrestleMania. If you know me, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I know many folks may say, "Man, you're a grown man. Why are you still watching wrestling?" Well, you can shut your trap. I want to watch what I want to watch, when I want, and where I want to. And I love wrestling. So this weekend, this past weekend, it was WrestleMania. Man, hey, hats off to Jay. Jay is now the new champion. He defeated Gunther, by the way. Made him tap. In fact, Gunther was so irate Monday last night. He came out, slapped Michael Cole around because those guys, they're commentators, remind you, they're not wrestlers. They were talking, they were saying, "Oh man, Jay made Gunther tap out." So Gunther comes out, slapped Michael Cole around. Pat McAfee, the other commentator, gets involved, of course, trying to calm Gunther down. Gunther wasn't having it, so he pushes Gunther off of Michael Cole, and then, security rushes out. If you watch wrestling, you know how it is. Security rushes out, yada, 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 rah, rah. They're trying to cool things down, calm everything down. Pat McAfee turns his back. Gunther slaps a rear naked choke on him. Damn near choked him out. Gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. So Gunther's upset because they were cracking jokes. Well, they really weren't cracking jokes. They just stated the obvious. He tapped out. You tapped out, but hey, it is what it is. Whatever the case may be, Jay is the new champion. Jacob Frontu is the new U.S. champion. New Intercontinental champion is Dominic Mysterio. Dirty Dog. I like that. Hey, I just do. What was it? It was a fatal four-way between him, Penta, Finn Balor's not too happy about that. You know that hey, you know Dominic and Finn, they're part of the Judgment Day. Finn had Braun Breaker covered, getting ready to take the belt. Dom came off that top belt, that top turnbuckle with that splash and got the pin and won the belt. So that's how Dom won during that fatal four-way. Good match. It really was. So Dirty Dom is the new Intercontinental Champion. How about that? And hey, we all know that's just a few of the matches. Of course, I'm sure by now you guys all know. But the screw job before I talk about the screw job, John Cena defeated Cody Rhodes. No surprise there. We knew that was coming. I knew it was coming the second John Cena turned heel. Great storyline. It just is. It's a great storyline. So John Cena's the new champ. He comes out last night telling the fans what is up, what he's going to do, what he ain't going to do. He has X amount of days, and he's not going to be wrestling all those days. He's just going to be making appearances. But he may have to make one bona fide pay-per-view, the next pay-per-view, Backlash, because as he was talking, as he was explaining himself and running it down, what he was and what he was and wasn't going to do, surprise, 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 who came up from behind and hit him with that RKO? Oh, Randall Orton. Yep, Randy Orton came from behind him with the RKO, and that was that. Backlash. I'm going out on that proverbial limb like I always do. Randy's your new champion. He's the next champion. John's not going to hold that belt too long. I know there are a lot of folks out there that are still John Cena fans, but not against Randy. Not against that cowboy son. And you know, his father was Cowboy Bob Orton. Oh, boy, you gotta love it. You gotta love it, folks. I heard the beeping, and that was that. You gotta love it. But yeah, let's get back to the screw job. The screw job, Saturday, actually, was Paul Heyman. Screwed his tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and screwed CM Punk. Guess who's the new Paul Heyman guy? Seth freaking Rollins. How ironic, but it's Paul Heyman. If you've been following Paul Heyman throughout the years, you know he's not loyal to anyone. Did kind of throw him. I didn't think he would ever turn his back on the tribal chief, but he did. So Seth freaking Rollins and him, they came out last night, the Monday night after WrestleMania on Raw. They were talking, they were yapping. Guess who comes to the ring? CM Punk. He wants to get him some. He's pissed. Seth Rollins does what he does. He said capacitated for a minute. Who comes next? The tribal chief, the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes. He gets manhandled a little bit. He gets speared through the barricade by Braun Breaker. There was a hint of that a few months back, actually when Braun Breaker first came. If you guys remember, you've been watching, mistakenly him and Paul Heyman met up in the hallway. They had a brief conversation. At that time, Paul Heyman was telling him that he had been instructed by the tribal chief to possibly recruit him. So Paul Heyman turns his back on the tribal chief, CM Punk, and gets Braun Breaker in the squad, and they stand victoriously. There has been a hint at one more possible member. Maybe not the final member, but one more possible member. If you watched last night or you watched Sunday night WrestleMania, you know Becky Lynch came back. She had to help Valkyria out because Bayley had gotten injured, got jumped somehow. Well, long story short, Becky Lynch and Valkyria ended up winning the women's championship, tag team championship belt. They come on Monday night, they lose to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Becky Lynch jumps Valkyria, beats her up, turns heel. Maybe she'll join her husband, Seth freaking Rollins. Paul Heyman. Hey, Paul Heyman's stable, that thing. It's Paul Heyman. Keep telling you guys, it's Paul Heyman, man. Paul Heyman's not loyal to anyone. He's a weasel. But I love him. I love him. I just do. I just do. All right, I said I won't keep you guys long, so let me go on and move along here. All right, let's go get it. Man, well, President Donald Trump has been in office 4 months, 3.5, maybe 4 months. He has turned the world upside down and inside out and kicked it around a few times too. He hasn't done anything that he didn't tell you guys, myself included, that he wasn't, that he, everything he's doing, he's told you he was going to do. He didn't hide, he didn't lie, he's not backtracking, he's not sidestepping. Hey, he told you what he was going to do. We all know, and he's doing it. More specifically, well, of course, you know, if you've been past 2 or 3 weeks now, you know the economy with his tariff war, or however they word it, got the economy all shook up. Eggs are about $20 a carton. Well, eggs are $20 a carton. And the price has dropped a little bit. I believe now they're about 5, 6, depending on where you go. Maybe 4 in some places. That's still too much for me for some eggs. They're eggs. Now, well, with that, what they're saying is they're attributing that to the bird flu. They said, of course, you know, we had to raise the prices, you know, more the production, and whatever. We had to kill a lot of birds because with the bird flu, they did have to put a lot of birds down. So that, of course, raised the price of eggs. Wow, who knew? All right, so like I said, President Trump has been in office 4 years, 4 months. I'm sorry. Got 4 more. Got 3.5 more years, maybe 3 years and some change. Over 3.5 more years of Donald Trump. So 4 years. Oh boy. Let's move along here. But hey, like I said, he's not doing anything that he didn't tell you he was going to do. Mainly with this immigration and deporting folks. He's been deporting folks left and right. He's rounded up some, I believe now the last number was like 260 some odd people. He's deported them. He's gotten them out of the country. He says they're members of, they're involved in drugs, gang activity, more specifically MS-13, which brings me to this case with this gentleman. I'm sure you guys have all heard about the gentleman that was deported. And they're saying he was wrongly deported. He wasn't supposed to be deported, but he was. He was rounded up, shipped off, or flown off, I should say, to El Salvador, a state-of-the-art prison. Now, of course, the Trump administration said, hey, we're going to be sending more people. This is how we're going to deal with this immigration problem here in America. This is our deportation right. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to send them off to this prison in El Salvador. And in addition, because what I heard, and I was wondering to myself, I said, man, what in the world? Why was he sending them all the way to this prison? Well, this prison is state of the art, I got to say. State of the art. I remember when this prison was first featured, it was featured on it made the world news. They were talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. They were up in arms saying, hey, man, this is a new state of the art prison. Is this, is that. It houses however many prisoners, and it's just ran for a lot of mass incarcerations, which coincidentally, by the way, we're fighting against that here in the United States. So looks like they have it in El Salvador too. El Salvador, of course, as you know, it does have a gang problem. The MS-13. I was always under the impression, I guess times have changed, MS-13, I always thought of them as a revolutionary army because when El Salvador, however many decades ago, was having a civil war, MS-13 was on the front lines fighting for their rights. Somehow, some way, they've now turned into a gang. Go figure that out. But who knows? Back to, man, I just got sidetracked. But back to what I was saying, because when I first heard that he was deporting these people to this prison, I first thought to myself, man, what in the world? Why is he deporting them there? That's a lot of money. We want, you got to round them up. You got ICE agents. You got to pay people. That's a lot of money. But apparently, money's not an object for the Trump administration because they're paying anywhere from 6 million to 15 million for El Salvador to house these immigrants. Hmm. Got regular citizens here in the United States struggling just to buy something as common as a dozen of eggs. And the U.S. government, I understand it, the immigration problem. I understand the need to deport those that you have deemed as undesirables because of their criminal affiliation. Got to understand it. But you guys got 6 to 15 mil just laying around like that to pay another country that you deemed at one point in time as a third world country. Good shot in the arm for their economy. Makes sense, doesn't it? So the U.S. government is paying these El Salvador 6 to 15 million. I can't get the right exact amount. I read in one article it was 6 million, another article was 15 million. So I'm wondering, is this 6 or 15 million a piece, or is this a lump sum altogether every time they ship some down there? Who am I to say? Who am I to question? Like I said, I can remember when that's 6 to 15 million in US dollars, by the way. Like I said, I can remember when they were talking about this prison. I remember when it was completed back in January of 2023. And by that time, they said the Salvadorian government has rounded up and was housing like 62,000 MS-13 gang members or other gang members, along with MS-13. If you've seen the inside of this prison from the little pieces they have shown from here and there, it's like something off the Squid Games, I gotta say. The racks are stacked anywhere from 4 to 5 high. That's 4 to 5 high stacked up on top of each other. And they're in this big, wide open space, looks like. Sure, there's bars around, but they're pretty much confined into one area. There may be a few bars or whatever separate. There's no partitions, they're just bars. It's like a hog pen. I don't mean to say it like that, but that's what it looks, and these bunks are 4 to 5 high. Now, of course, they're saying that the sanitation and living conditions in this place is horrible, is unbearable, because, hey, you got all these people in one space, packed 5 to 6, 4 to 5 high. I believe I counted. Reminds you of the Squid Games. If you ever seen the Squid Games, you know exactly what I'm talking about, how those racks were stacked. I would say it takes me back to my Navy days when I, slept in those coffin racks and they were stacked 3 high, and I was at the very top, and that was hell on me. I can't even imagine what those guys want to do. But like I said, they're saying the sanitation in this state-of-the-art prison must be when they say state-of-the-art, I think what they're saying is state-of-the-art because of the amount of prisoners it can hold, not because of course, the living conditions or the enemies that they may have. They may have their, like cable, Wi-Fi, phone access. I don't think they have access to anything. They're just there. Lights stay on 24 hours a day. Some officials went in to give a looks around, or whatever, however you want to call it. Of course, they said it was overcrowded. It was filthy. The inmates are disease riddled. These doctors who visited said the prisoners are suffering from tuberculosis, fungal infections, scabies, severe malnutrition. You really got to feed them. They're the undesirables of the world. I would call them the unforgotten, but they weren't even, no. How can they be unforgotten? So they're suffering from severe malnutrition, chronic digestive issues. We hear the horror stories in all these foreign lands of these prisons they pretty much serve, and some here in the United States, because there's been a fight and an argument for the past few years. Spoiled food. So there goes your chronic digestive issues. And this was just done back in last month. March of 2025 when the U.S. started sending those folks over there. So you have tuberculosis, fungal infections, scabies, severe malnutrition, chronic digestive issues are the living conditions. Now, the young man, the gentleman that was rounded up and deported to prison, he's been charged with being a member of the MS-13. The Trump administration has admitted, by the way, that, hey, we were wrong, we were mistaken, he's not. However, even though they admitted they were wrong, they said they're not bringing him back. He's not coming back. They said it's up to the president of El Salvador if they want to bring him back or not. And he has flat out said no. Why would he? He's getting paid $5 to $16 million to house what the government here in the United States has termed as gang members, terrorists even. Why would he? Wouldn't that split his pot? Why would he do that? So he's flat out said, hey, he's not coming back. In turn, he came to the United States sometime last week, had a meeting with President Trump. President Trump and his administration flat out said, no, he's not coming back. That's final. That's it. President of El Salvador said, nope, that's it. He's not coming back. I don't have any desire, need, want, or am I mandated to send him back. Even though the U.S. Supreme Court has chimed, or the court has chimed in, not U.S. Supreme Court has chimed in and said, hey, this guy was wrongfully detained, deported, send him back. Court even went as far, one particular judge even went as far as to say, turn that damn plane back around right now. Plane was already off in the air, and it was already not en route, had touchdown in El Salvador, and Trump administration said, ain't no way in the world we turn that around. Hey, we're going to pay that guy $5 to $16 million. You're a fool if you think we're a fool to turn it around, and you're really a fool if you think we're going to send him back. I don't mean to sound like an arrogant, pompous jerk, like I'm insensitive or a heartless bastard, but this is the reality of the world we're living in right now. Now, he is, the gentleman that was sent there was, of course, accused of being an MS-13 member. He came to the United States in 2011 seeking refuge because he was from El Salvador. He said he was under attack. Judge granted him that, but he was rounded back up again sometime in 2019, asked if he was a part of a murder investigation. He was asked if he knew anything about a murder or whatever, what have you. He said no. Immigration officials sent him to trial. They found out, or they came to the conclusion that he wasn't, but they gave him that status where he couldn't be deported at any point in time because of his woes in El Salvador. Oh, Lord. So long story short about that, folks, sorry about that. Long short about that, judge gives him a protective order saying he can't be sent back because he is going to be persecuted, might be killed, and move ahead from 2019 to 2025, he's picked up again. Now he's back in El Salvador. That's as plain as I can put it. Certainly is this whole process of sending these people over there and paying another country, a third world country. Let's be honest with each other. El Salvador is a third world country. The economy's not that grand. The economy may be coming up now because you're getting $5 to 16 million to house immigrants. Not just from El Salvador, but Venezuela also. So the whole process is mind-boggling to me. But then again, it's not. Cruel and heartless as it sounds, as it seems, as it is, it's now a business. Housing prisoners or criminals has always been a business. Take the humanity out of it, it's a business. It just is. That's just a sweet answer I can give you. I'm being honest. And if you're saying to yourself that sounds absurd, keep in mind the United States government is paying El Salvador $5 to $16 million to house its immigration problem. That's a business. Ain't no way around it, folks. That's a business. Lucrative business also. I got to say, I'm not being an arrogant, pompous jerk. Like I said, I'm not being a heartless bastard like I've been called and accused numerous times. That's just that. It's a business. Oh well. Not oh well, but man, pray. Just pray. Like I said, President Trump has came in 3.5, 4 months. He's turned the world inside out, upside down. He smacked it, he flipped it, he rubbed it down, kicked it from pillar to post. He ain't playing no games, and he's not doing anything that he didn't tell you he was going to do. Just not. If you can't say anything, if you can say anything about him, you can say, hey, at least he didn't lie. Told you what he was going to do. At least he's honest about that. I guess. I gather. I don't know. What do I know? Just a thought. Just a thought. All right, I'm going to go on and get out of here. I'm going to go on and skedaddle. Hey, I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share. Hit that like, support, share button. Get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this immigration thing. Let me know what you guys think about the price of eggs. Let me know what you think about WrestleMania. Let me know what you think about the NBA playoffs. Will the Lakers do it in 5? I doubt it. I really doubt it. These ain't my Lakers. They ain't got no heart. I don't know what they doing. They out there just for show. But anyway, get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think, especially about this immigration thing. Let me know what you guys think about the U.S. paying 5 to 16 million. When I say 5 to 16 million, like I said, I couldn't get an accurate count. One article said 5, another article said 16 million. 5 to 16 million. Now, I'm wondering, is this 5 to 16 million one shipment? And I don't mean to say it like that. One shipment meaning when they send a certain amount, El Salvador gets a certain amount of money, or is this 5 to 16 million a piece per prisoner? Still haven't been able to nail that down. But anyway, get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. And hey, until next time, like always, man, I want to thank you guys for listening to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Carnegie. Amen.